Brandon Aiyuk wants to play with Jaden Daniels, and he is not being quiet about it. His former Arizona State teammate, his quarterback, is in Washington now, and Aiyuk wants in. But before Peters makes that call, there is a reason why signing Aiyuk right now could be a mistake, and I am going to break it down for you because at the same time, Stefon Diggs, the kid from Gaithersburg, the guy who grew up a fan of this franchise, is looking straight at the DMV for Pro Bowls. Available and ready to come home. The real question is not whether Washington can land one of them. The question is which one actually moves the needle for Daniels in 2026. And while Peters is working through that, ESPN just dropped Trayvon Diggs as the best available fit for this secondary. 2 Diggs in the same conversation, same week. But there are numbers behind that name that completely flip the analysis. And if anyone in Ashburn is treating him as a cornerstone piece, that is a red flag you need to hear about. All of that, plus the definitive answer to the question the entire DMV has been asking for months. After the injuries in 2025, can Jaden Daniels stay healthy for 17 weeks? His coach at Arizona State just spoke on it, and what he said shuts that conversation down for good. Raise hail, let's get into it. Brandon Aiyuk, Stefon Diggs, 2 elite wide receivers, 2 completely different situations, and one common denominator, yes, Washington, D.C. Let's break this down properly because this deserves the full analysis. First, Brandon Aiyuk. This man is still under contract with the San Francisco 49ers, but that relationship has gone cold. Colder than a January morning in the DMV. Aiyuk has been unhappy, and it's no secret. But what makes this situation different, what makes it personal, is that Jaden Daniels was his quarterback at Arizona State back in 2019. These two have history. They have chemistry built long before either of them ever stepped on an NFL field. And right now, Aiyuk has made it clear that playing with Daniels again wouldn't just be a business move. It's something he genuinely wants. And look, just imagine that for a second. The problem is, San Francisco is not letting him go easily. The 49ers are going to hold on until the very last moment before they release him or explore a trade. And if a trade happens, Washington probably gets shut out because San Francisco is not going out of their way to help a rising NFC rival. So if Aiyuk comes to Burgundy and Gold, it has to be as a free agent. And that path still isn't clear, but the intention is there, and that matters. Now, Stefon Diggs, this one is different. This is the kid from Gaithersburg, Maryland. This man grew up rooting for this team. Grew up right here in the DMV, and fans have been begging the organization to bring him home for years. Well, after being cleared of all charges in that legal situation last year, Diggs is available. He's considering offers, and according to reports, Washington is on his radar. 4 Pro Bowl selections, pure speed, a receiver who in his best years was virtually unguardable on separation routes. And the narrative of coming home to the team of your city alongside a young, explosive quarterback like Jaden Daniels, that doesn't just sell itself, that sells itself twice. And here is what I think matters most about all of this. The Commanders finished last season 5-12. That was a rough year, but even after that rough year, Pro Bowl caliber players want to come to Washington. That doesn't happen at broken franchises. That happens at organizations that have something real, something players can sense from the outside. The culture Josh Harris has built, the renovated facilities in Ashburn, and above all, the presence of Jaden Daniels as a franchise quarterback. All of that is turning Washington into a place where veterans actually want to write their next chapter. Now, can the Commanders sign both of them? Look, I could be wrong, but my read is that if Peters can move the financial pieces and create the cap space, one of them gets here. Both together would be the dream scenario, and the NFL rarely gives you the complete dream scenario. What is true is that Terry McLaurin cannot keep being the only receiver Daniels fully trusts. They need another weapon. And if that weapon wants to come, Adam Peters needs to make that call. The question for y'all is simple. Aiyuk or Stefon Diggs? Who do you sign first? Let me know down below because I want to read every single opinion. And speaking of Diggs, there is another Diggs in the conversation. Trayvon Diggs, the cornerback, the former All-Pro from Dallas that ESPN just named as the best available fit for the Commanders in free agency. Matt Bowen over at ESPN argues that Washington could use Diggs as a reclamation project under coordinator Durante Jones, and the argument has surface-level logic. Diggs has 20 interceptions in 6 seasons. led the league with 11 picks in 2021, and the Joneses' pressure-heavy scheme could help him use his backfield vision to anticipate routes and create plays. But here's where I have to keep it a buck with y'all. The biggest problem with Trevon Diggs is not talent. The talent is there, or at least it was. The problem is this man cannot stay healthy. After signing a $97 million extension with Dallas, he tore his ACL. Since that injury in 2023, he's only played 22 regular season games. Last year with the Cowboys, he played just 8 games before they released him. The Packers signed him after that, and he played 33 defensive snaps. 33 snaps the entire season. That is not a player in recovery. That is a player still searching for who he used to be, and the Commanders already have Mike Sainristil and Amik Robertson as their starting cornerbacks. Trey Amos is waiting for his opportunity. Akello Witherspoon is also on the roster. In the best-case scenario, Trevon Diggs comes to Washington, and he's a rotational piece, a depth player who maybe gives you 10 or 12 games of moderate contribution. Is that worth the risk of bringing in another injury-plagued body who still has to prove himself after that ending in Dallas and that ghost appearance in Green Bay? The connection with Dan Quinn is real. Quinn knows him, knows how he works, but knowing a player and trusting that player to hold up for 17 weeks are two very different conversations. If Peters brings him in on a minimum deal, no pressure, no big guarantees, okay, nothing to lose. But if anyone in Ashburn is thinking of Trevon Diggs as a defining piece of this defense, that worries me, because this secondary needs players who could be on the field week after week, not rehabilitation projects who give you 5 good games and 3 weeks in the training room. And after everything we just talked about, needing more weapons around Jayden, there is a conversation floating in the air right now that needs to be addressed directly. Is Jayden Daniels injury prone? Herm Edwards, his head coach at Arizona State, came out publicly to answer that question, and he was direct. Jayden has got to stay healthy. He knows that. I love the kid. He never got hurt for me at all at Arizona State, played every game, came to every practice. So I don't want to hear that. Edwards coached him across 29 games at ASU. That is a legitimate sample size. And if you look at Daniels' complete record across 5 college seasons and 2 NFL seasons, the only time he missed significant time was in 2025. Those 10 games we all remember. Before that, a concussion at LSU in 2023. That is it. Now, the ghost of R-Juice is in the room. I know it. You know it. Every Washington fan knows it. Another number 2 overall pick, another athletic, slim quarterback, another rookie year success story, followed by a devastating injury. The comparison stings because we lived it. But here's the difference that Edwards pointed to, and one I think holds up. He compared Daniels to Randall Cunningham. Same frame, same leanness, same throwing mechanics, same ability to extend plays with his legs. And Cunningham played 15 seasons in the NFL, 15, 2-time first-team All-Pro, 1990 PFA MVP. Daniels is 6'4" and 210 pounds. He is lean, yes, but lean does not mean fragile. What happened in 2025 was a storm of bad luck. First a knee sprain, then a gruesome elbow dislocation that ended his season. That was brutal to watch. But we have to separate bad luck from an actual pattern of fragility. And right now, that pattern does not exist. What does exist is a quarterback who, when he is on the field, completely changes the level of this franchise. We saw it in 2024. We saw him take this team to the NFC Championship game as a rookie. That was not luck. That was Jayden Daniels being Jayden Daniels. And in 2026, with more weapons around him, with another year of growth, and if he stays healthy, fam, this conversation about whether he can hold up is going to feel very far away when we're watching playoff football in January. Look, today was a day of news that reminds you why being a Commanders fan right now feels different. Stars who want to come here, a franchise quarterback, his own coach, defends with fire. This organization is building something real in Ashburn. 2025 hurt, but what's coming together for 2026 has a different energy. And y'all feel it too, I know you do. Drop your opinion below. Aiyuk or Stefon Diggs, who do you want wearing burgundy and gold first? And if you haven't hit that like button yet, do it now, because there is a lot more coming, and you do not want to miss it. Raise hail. See you in the next one.